It's the hashtag Simply Cyber, COWMUNITY. Here to break the cycle, this is vital more than you and I. Yeah, it's exciting, it don't matter what your title is. You can grab a friend or two or three or four and vitamin. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good time. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's the Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's the live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Dr. Auger is a OG, got that potion, the elixir. Got devotion to all those who keep on showing up to witness. Spit the tricks and quips and all the tips to raise your cyber fitness. Switching up the routines, pass it off to James Quicker. Keep the people smiling, hit that follow, that's a good decision. Every week, today, tomorrow, I encourage y'all to listen. We gon' teach y'all way more than how to protect yourselves from phishing. More like being confident so you can recognize a vision. On a mission, it's official, we gon' get through all these issues. Time for Jawjacking, baby, this is more than a tradition, yeah. Oh, I can't forget to recognize the mods. They the engine, they the reason that you leave and feeling charged. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. It's that Simply Cyber, bring a good vibe. It's that live with Jerry every morning, having good times. And you know we love to see for you, just gotta go and get it. Yeah, you know we all believe in you, it's time we grow together. Yeah. What else can I say? I hope you find some value in this place and have yourself an awesome day. Simply Cyber's here to stay. So let's all put our hands together ready. Time to hang with Dr. A.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Thursday, March 27th, 2025. This is episode 843 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next hour, me, you, Poner Joe, Gary Sturgiadis, Marlon Johnson, Code Brew, and Port Zero in the Upstate. We got Justin Gold, Casually Joseph, Jenny Housley on Team Audio, Nathan Blair, Dream Logic, Senfless out in Poland, the whole Blue Badge crew, first-timers, long-timers, and Eric Taylor behind the glass. Good to see you, Eric. Guys, we are all going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of the stories on what it means to you as a practitioner. So how can you use this information to actually drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders? If you're a solo operator like Kyle, Stones fan, Augusta Delgado, and others, first of all, drop a hashtag Team Solo in chat so we know that you are one of those solo operators, those individuals who basically are asked to do more with less, being the only person on the IT team or the only person on the cybersecurity team. Just want you to know that the Simply Cyber community is essentially an extension, a virtual co-workforce for you to bounce ideas off of and ask questions. Also, guys, if you're looking to break into the industry, which many of you are, I know it's hard out there right now. I know that there's not a lot of opportunities, and the ones that are there are, in high demand. A lot of people pushing for it. I will say that there are opportunities, and they will continue. It's just, it's murky. But what I want you to know is, in order to give yourself the best chance, in order to level up and crush, the Simply Cyber community is here for you, and you're going to be asked in any single job interview, which is something everyone's going to have to go through. Job interviews are a thing. You're going to be asked, how do you stay current in the industry? This right here, the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, is a banger of an answer if you engage, right? If you just leave it playing on in the background, that doesn't count. You need to engage with it. So we're going to be covering those stories and telling you what they really mean. We're off and running, everybody. I want you to know that every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, including this one, episode 843, I do not research or prep for.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Honestly, I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. Nobody got time for that. AA Witherspoon in the house. Good to see you. Marcus Kyler, as always. JT Webb, love your avatar logo. It looks very similar to my background right here, so I'm picking up those vibes. All right, guys. GRC rolls on the uptick. Joseph Gambulari says, let's go. Love it. All right, guys. I just want you to know, We're going to be off and running. Today is Thursday, which means it is the special activity at the mid-roll. Is this guy right here, Haircut Fish, Dan Reardon. What's your meme Thursday? He makes a custom, Tom Bishop's in the house. He makes a custom meme for the community every single Thursday. He's done it for years. And I'm telling you, today is a nice one. Today's a feel-good meme, so do stay tuned for the mid-roll. Before we get into it, I do want to say shout out and thank you to the stream sponsors, those who enable me to bring this show to you every single morning without much of a hiccup. Even when we're on the road, Team Sippy Cup is in the hizzy. And if you don't know what I'm talking about with Team Sippy Cup, ask around, you'll see. I see Augusta Delgado dropping a wrecking ball, so I'm kind of curious. Mods, can you check? Is there a wrecking ball activity in chat? Would love to recognize those people. All right, guys, let's do the ad roll, and I'll be engaging with everybody in chat during the ads. And when we come back, I'm going to explain to you how this show can absolutely crush your CPE requirements. Let's go. I want to give some love to the Daily Cyber Threat Brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Heroes support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com. What's up, Simply Cyber? You know what keeps CISOs up at night? The unknown. Those exposed assets and leaked creds floating around the dark web that you don't even know about? Well, that's where Flare steps in. Think of Flare as your organization's amazing threat hunting capability, continuously scanning both clear and dark web for exposed enterprise assets, leaked secrets, and even compromised credentials being sold in private channels. Their cutting-edge platform, powered by transparent, generative AI, prioritizes real threats so your team can take immediate action. Stop playing catch-up with threat actors. Get ahead with Flare's threat exposure management capability. Don't take my word for it. Visit try.flare.io/simplycyber and try it for yourself. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Antisyphon Training, powered by Black Hills Information Security. Antisyphon Training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing, as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other, all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what courses they have coming up next. You won't regret it. And as always, want to say shout out to Barricade Cyber Solutions. Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil. But Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. They know how to help a business on its worst day get back up and running. They've got years and years of experience. Eric Taylor, regular in the community, a moderator. He does streams. You guys know him. He's trusted. He's experienced. He's amazing. You can get on his calendar by going to barricadecyber.com right now. And hey, Haircut Fish, 29 months, blue badge. Whoop, that was a misfire. Of course, Dan Reardon, thank you for the opportunity to enjoy your memes. Do want to say, if today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer. It looks like Daniel Camacho Sanchez is our first timer. Good morning, Daniel. Good to see you. And squad members, if you can, go ahead and make it rain down John McClane on our friend Daniel Camacho. There we go, Daniel. And definitely a shout out to Cuban Libertarian, who passed the CISP on Monday. Good work, man. Love it, love it, love it. Guys, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE, so say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot. You can see how Shepherd Security, John Johnson's right there. Mr. Green is right there. Cybertron's going to pop up in a hot minute. Oh, hold on. You know what? I'm sorry. I just realized I forgot to, hold on. This is guys, I got to tell you, there's a lot of production that goes into setting the studio up. There we go. Whoop. Now we're talking Tony Jack, Elliot Matisse, Hexit. Now we're talking. Go ahead. Pete McGee's a first timer. Welcome to the party, pal. Pete McGee. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, yeah. So first timers, drop a hashtag first timer. Nathan Blair. Hold on. Nathan Blair. We'll give you the first timer, but I swear to God, I've seen your name before, Nathan Blair. I think. But anyways, judges. Yep. Judges are saying if it's a hashtag first timer, it's a hashtag first timer. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Younga Benue Fonticaro. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, guys, we're off and running. I can't wait to shred it with you guys. And, we got a super chat. My man, James O'Quigan, squad membership, excuse me. 27 months. How awesome to be involved with this community for so long. Thanks for all being here. And Jerry for his knowledge. My pleasure, guys. Absolutely love it, love it, love it. Do me a favor, everyone. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us all in an awesome wave. I'll see you guys at the mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for March 27th, 2025. I'm Sarah Lane. A new ransomware group, Arcana, claims to have hacked U.S. telecom provider WideOpenWest, also known as Bang, gaining access to critical systems and stealing customer data. The attackers allege they can deploy malware, manipulate financial transactions, and tamper with billing information. They are apparently using extortion tactics, including leaking sensitive leadership details and threatening to sell stolen data on the dark web. WoW has not confirmed the breach, but cybersecurity experts warn of significant reputational and legal risks.
Okay, so what's up, Alphas here? Good to see you. 15 months, blue badge, looking good, as always. Okay, so hold on one second. Here's the deal, y'all, okay? First of all, telecom provider hit. This is not to be confused with Salt Typhoon or Flax Typhoon, the Chinese-based APT that's been going ham up in the telecoms with more of a focus on espionage. This is straight cash, homie, okay?
Straight cash, homie.
This is all about making that cheddar. And also really quick, since they go by WoW, I don't want any graybeards turning into like Save Britney. Hold on one second. Hold on. This is going to be worth it. Trust me. Oh my God. How do you leave Britney alone? Is it? Yes, there we go. Okay. So just for those, because this is what came to my mind immediately. If you heard the story and you heard WoW got ransomwared and you're like, leave World of Warcraft alone. Leave it alone. Don't worry. Your level 60 paladin is definitely okay. This is a kind of a rural telecommunication ISP provider. We got some first timers in chat. Pete McGee and Hexic. Yes, sir.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Love it. Love it. This provider has about 500,000 subs in its, client bank. And a ransomware threat actor hit it. Now, here's what I want to do with this story, okay? Dude, we cover ransomware stories every single day. It is rampant. It is ubiquitous. It is a thing. You absolutely should be doing all the things to help protect. Let's do our NIST CSF here. Protect from ransomware detonating in your environment, and your response and recovery phase are faster with less damage, right? So for our GRC people in chat, we're reducing likelihood and reducing impact, which for me is the opposite of the yodeler in the Price is Right game, where the yodeler goes up the hill, yodelay, yodelay. We're going down the hill towards that soft, nice green area on the risk matrix heat map. Now, that was a bit of a deep cut for GRC people and Americans who are into Price is Right, but if you are in that niche Venn diagram I just mentioned, my metaphor just was perfect. Now, because this story is, run-of-the-mill ransomware, what I would like to do here is spend a minute talking about ransomware threat actors, Flaming Donkey, for example, which is a threat actor group, you first-timers that we've invented here, just kind of like letting it marinate, see if we can get it into the MITRE ATT&CK framework. But threat actors, and this is something Eric Taylor will rail against if given the opportunity, ransomware threat actors like to position themselves as security companies. They like to call their victims clients. They like to believe what they're offering is penetration testing services. Silicone Shecky says, I wish ransomware would actually run somewhere and disappear. That's funny. These threat actors, they're criminals, but they're trying to wrap themselves in this cloak of righteousness. And I almost wonder if it's partly for legal reasons down the road if they ever get arrested, or if it's so they can sleep at night thinking that they're doing good. Here's the difference, okay? Well, hold on. First of all, this is the first threat actor I've ever seen that calls themselves something security. So a lot of businesses will call themselves, like real legit businesses will call themselves security, right? So think of like TBG Security or Trusted Sec, right? Dave Kennedy's company, the Sec stands for security. Barricade Cyber, right? Barricade Cyber, Barricade Security. Even my consulting business is called Coastal Information Security Group, right? So good guys, and I'm trying to be not gender specific here, but you know what I mean? Good people typically do this. This threat actor is adopting that nomenclature in order to further identify themselves as, on the side of law. Secondly, they're claiming to perform penetration testing. Here's the deal. If you don't agree to be penetrated, right? And I know like people were like, whoa, where'd this just go? It's too early for this guy. Listen, if you don't agree to a penetration test, if you don't agree to have someone break into your company, if you don't agree for someone to access your systems without authorization, that is illegal. That is called hacking. That is called unauthorized access. That falls under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act of 1986 in the United States. It's not legal. You don't get to kick a hole. Listen, you don't get to kick in someone's front door, right? Steal their jewelry and then call them on the phone after you leave and say, hey, listen, your home security sucks. I was able to get in your house and steal all your stuff. Now, I feel like you owe me for a physical security assessment. And if you don't pay me, I'm going to keep your jewelry because I'm getting paid for the services I provided you. That's not how business works. You don't get to provide a service and then charge people for it after the fact, right? Like this reminds me of if you've ever dealt with like the filthy Elmo in Times Square or like the gross like Buzz Lightyear on the Vegas Strip, where they're like, oh, hey, take a picture with me. And your kid's like, yeah, let's do it. And then they take a picture and then all of a sudden they're like, that's $10. And you're like, what are you talking about? Like, no. And they're like, ah! And they just turn into like a monster because they just provided a service. That is not how it works, okay? And that's what these criminals do. So just be aware that if you possibly could deal with someone whose moral compass is broken, but they're also misunderstanding how reality works and how business works. This is a criminal that has broken into a business and stole information. And, there it goes. Which makes it disgusting because, like, they're literally trying to act like a legitimate business. I guarantee you they don't invoice you for their services. They take Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. They definitely won't give you a mailing address because I would send law enforcement there, not a check.
Regulators, mount up.
Yeah, so given the opportunity, Eric Taylor will die on that soapbox. Okay, let's go.
CBS News' sources say that the National Security Agency, or NSA, warned employees back in February about vulnerabilities in the Signal messaging app, citing phishing risks targeting users. This comes after The Atlantic revealed that the Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, accidentally shared classified war plans in a Signal chat before a U.S. military strike in Yemen. Signal says the issue was phishing scams, not flaws in its own encryption. CIA and national intelligence officials testified before Congress, denying that classified details were shared in the chat, though the NSA advises against using Signal for sensitive but unclassified information.
Yep. Okay, so this is not a political show. We're not going to get into right or wrong on politics. But what I will say is, if you didn't know, right, because we have an international community, if you didn't know, just as a back brief, recently a collection of high-ranking, defense-focused federal administrative cabinet position people had a group chat on Signal, and one of them added a reporter, and the whole story broke out, okay? What is going on here? Number one, NSA warns about vulnerabilities in Signal. This title is grossly misleading, okay? This is grossly misleading. The vulnerability is not in Signal. And okay, and if you know me for a minute, and I know Pete McGee, Hexic, Daniel Camacho, we got some first-timers here, Younga. We've got some first-timers who don't know me that well. But what I will tell you is I'm very specific about language. Words have meaning, and communication is an unbelievably important skill. Just because you can speak English doesn't mean that you can communicate well, and words matter. So here in this particular headline, the word in is the problem for me. I've got a big problem with the word in here. NSA warns about vulnerabilities in Signal. I got news for you. The vulnerability isn't in Signal. This should read, NSA warns about vulnerabilities in Signal users prior to White House group chat fiasco. The vulnerability is being phished. It is falling. Here's the risk. You fall for a phish and give someone access to your Signal account. That's the risk. That is not technical exploitation. That's not elite level 0 day. That's not tapping in the phone line. That's not the guy, in Mission Impossible sitting on top of the elevator, rappelling down into the clean room and, popping in the thumb drive. The problem is you and the proverbial you, okay? It's the royal you, not you, LeGrot. I'm not saying Dream Logic's got problems. Kimberly can fix it, clearly doesn't have problems. I'm just saying humans have problems, all right? So what does this mean? Another situation here is that you're not allowed by policy, hello, let's go GRC team, we're not allowed by policy to communicate classified information, which is MP6, right? Is that MP? Hold on. Or MP3 media marking? Hold on. NIST 853. Allow me to dork out for a second here. Ooh, gosh, that feels good. MP3 media marking. So this information is marked as classified. You're not allowed to use systems that are not authorized for the sensitivity of the data being used, right? Pete Hegseth and JD Vance can use Signal to DM each other about their March Madness bracket. I don't care. Get after it. I hope you win the office pool. What you cannot do is use an app that's unauthorized to communicate classified information. So what does this mean for you and your business? Okay, so for many of us, our businesses do not have that level of sensitivity. We don't have national security information. However, what you should have is authorized communication channels and how they are to be used. So maybe you do allow, obviously, many businesses allow email. Many businesses allow Teams messaging, right? Maybe you have Zoom or whatever. Text message, right? All these things, right? I use Signal. I think Signal's great. I champion Signal. Let's go Signal. Everybody on the Signal train. But you can't use it for communication or data that's not authorized to be used in that medium. And to me, that's the real story here. The vulnerabilities is human vulnerability. If here's the deal. If this communication medium is not being used for unauthorized information, then the risk of being phished is mitigated. like you're doing a risk avoidance, right? And in the world of GRC, this is my final thing on this. In the world of GRC, you can do risk acceptance, risk mitigation, risk transference, or risk avoidance. And I know I sound like a Sec Plus survey question or whatever, or a CISA question, or a CISM ISACA question, but that's it. Those are the only 4 things you can do with risk, y'all. And what I recommend in this instance would be risk avoidance. Don't use Signal. Guess what? Problem solved. All right, let's keep going.
One researchers warned that ReaderUpdate malware, which has been active since 2020, has new Mac OS variants written in Crystal, NIM, Rust, and Go. Initially delivering adware, it
Hold on, what am I looking at here? Eric Taylor put in chat like a word wall that I can't really read. What is this? Okay, cool. All right, so hey, this is great. Check this out really quick. I do remember this being in the news not too, like maybe last year. CISA does recommend the use of end-to-end encrypted communications, including Signal. I think this came out when Salt Typhoon or Flax Typhoon, I think it's Salt Typhoon, when China basically broke into the telecommunications. Actually, I do remember this story. China broke into telecommunications, and people were like, "Oh my God, they can eavesdrop on everything." And the government came out and said, "Hey, you should use secure communications." I remember making a big statement that like, it's like turning a cruise ship around. You can't just tell everybody on Monday to start using Signal. It's not going to work. So Signal's good. But what I want to point out here is you should be using it for the correct data classification of data that's authorized to be used on that medium. This isn't a Boolean thing. You don't just you can't say, "Oh yeah, you can use Signal," and then use it for everything, right? That's the distinction. That's the nuance. That's why we get paid, people, for GRC work, because there's nuance. Thank you, Eric Taylor.
now acts as a malware loader spread through Trojanized apps like drag and drop. The newly analyzed Go variant collects system data and executes remote commands, potentially facilitating pay-per-install, PPI, or malware as a service, or MAAS. The malware can obfuscate its code to evade detection, and compromised hosts remain vulnerable to further malicious payloads.
All right, I'm just going to let this image without a caption slide. This looks like Binary Ninja, kind of. If you didn't know, Ida and Ghidra are the belle of the ball when it comes to disassemblers. But Binary Ninja, don't sleep on that one. That one's Binary Ninja is that one's a little too intense for me personally. Casually Joseph might like some Binary Ninja though, called Binja if you want. Okay, so this malware update, now written in Crystal. I've never even heard of Crystal. But I've heard of Rust and Go, targets Mac OS users. Here's my thing. I don't know why I don't know why you would write it in 4 different languages. I guess with AI you can do it. Whoa, Jeremy Williams stepping in. What's up, Jeremy Williams? His name doesn't say it in chat, but he is referred to as Jeremy Williams of the Boo Boo Bus. He's a paramedic. Thanks, Jeremy Williams. Hope you're well, bud. All right, check it out. Sentinel-1's warning that macOS users are getting hit. Here's the deal. Number one, Sentinel-1 has a massive presence in the EDR market, endpoint detection and response. Why does that matter? Why do I even mention it? Because they have so many agents installed in so many places that if they're warning of macOS users, if they're warning about macOS users getting punched in the mouth, you can believe that's based on facts, not beliefs or suspicions or speculation, okay? Now, this malware loader has been kicking around since 2020. Let's see. And it's remained undetected. Damn, dude, this thing's gone undetected since 2024. Here's my thing. How do they know it's been around since 2020 if it's going undetected? But whatever. This looks like it's from any.run. Hold on, let's take a look at these screenshots. Yeah, this looks like any.run. Or actually, you know what? This is integer. Huh. I haven't thought about Intezer in a minute. Yeah, this is all Intezer all day long. Intezer. You can see they're running it. It's very similar to Virus Total or any.run. That'll look at a malware sample and see what's cracking. So why would you run it in different languages? Number one, the file size, which doesn't really matter. You can see in Rust. Wow, this is crazy, yo. In NIM, the same program, Python, which I love myself some Python, 5.6 megabytes. In NIM, 166 kilobytes. Very lightweight, very fast. Obviously, they have different hash values, of course. That shouldn't come as any surprise. How are people getting infected? That's really the question here. Okay, so first of all, the malware is going to run in the tilde library app support directory. So if you're going to go threat hunting in your environment, check that out. That's going to be there. Also, the way that Mac kind of captures configuration is in these plist files. It's not exactly one-to-one, but it's kind of like Microsoft Registry, if you want to think about it that way. You could see it obviously communicates C2 like any other malware would. And it looks like, honestly, it's just an initial infection. And it just sits there persistent. And then people pay to either pay per install, and malware as a service is like kind of, to me, one and the same. It's like, what do you think they're installing? Pay per install malware or malware as a service, right? So either bring your own malware or get it from a third-party supply chain company that's selling malware, and you can install it on a victim machine. At the end of the day, the victim is just sitting there infected. They may or may not know it. And then when a threat actor buys access to infect your machine, that's when it goes bananas. So you definitely want to get this sorted out sooner than later. The developers are using obfuscation techniques of strings. That's another really standard thing. Malware developers, like the least they can do is obfuscate their functions. Let's see. I can't believe that NIM is 166 kilobytes. That's like insane. All right. It doesn't say in here how initial infection happens. If I had to guess, right, if someone said you have to bet $1,000 right now on how the initial infection goes, I would assume phishing emails with a link to some type of go check this out. And then people download it. The other thing I would wonder is how do you convince someone to run this? Like, I don't know how NIM runs on a Mac, but you would assume that a Mac OS is going to give some type of pop-up saying that this is a weird file that's about to detonate or execute on your box. So be careful. Two things I would tell you, or three things. Number one, Macs can get infected, so don't treat that as a magic bullet. Number two, know that if you want to just kind of do some threat hunting, this library application support directory is where it looks like it's hiding. And three, educate your end users on not falling for dumb stuff, especially your senior executives, because they're typically the ones who run the MacBooks. We're a Windows shop here, but not me. I fly business class and I use a MacBook. I'm a power user.
Thank you to today's episode sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a global leader in zero-trust endpoint security, offering cybersecurity controls to protect businesses from zero-day attacks and ransomware. ThreatLocker operates with a default deny approach to reduce the attack surface and mitigate potential cyber vulnerabilities. To learn more and start your free trial, visit threatlocker.com.
All right. Thank you. Hey, really quickly, we've got intel coming across the wire here. Shout out to the real Bilbo, Bill Boston out of the West Coast area. He said that this particular attack comes through as a PDF that when you click on it to access it, it wants you to log in with a Microsoft account, at which point it sounds like they would get your creds too. Bonus. and then you'd pull down a PDF, but in reality, you're pulling down malware. He says it's not very sophisticated, and if you're paying attention, you will not fall for it. So I do find it interesting that they make you like put in your credentials to pull the PDF. I mean, that's like an extra step for no reason. I got to tell you, one thing you don't want users to do is feel friction, but whatever. That's the TLDR. Thank you, Real Bilbo. Hey, for all you first timers in chat, Hexic, Pete, we'll even call Jeremy Williams back in the saddle again. We do this every day at the mid-roll. Hey, yo, I want to say shout out and thank you to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber, Antisyphon, Flare, ThreatLocker, all businesses that I use and or have use currently and or definitely stand by as a good company with good people. You will not be getting a NordVPN ad here on the channel. Guys, I do want to say thank you all so very much for being here. We're going to keep moving. It is a Thursday, which means I have to go teach at the Citadel right after this. I think Eric Taylor will be doing Jawjacking. It's hard to tell. He's behind the glass, so it's possible. But we'll see. Guys, every single day of the week has a special segment. And Thursdays is What's Your Meme Thursday, where Dan Reardon, a.k.a. Haircut Fish, does a custom meme. This guy's wonderful. If you go to a conference Dan's at, definitely warrants finding him and giving him a solid high five. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you this week's Meme of the Week. Good to have you here. Almost a year, FedEx. All right, there we go. Little Bob Ross GRC action. GRC audit. Just a little, nice little GRC audit. We're going to put a little GRC audits right here. A nice little NIST control right here. Oh, it's so nice. And for those youngs who don't know Bob Ross, this guy was like this guy was ASMR before ASMR was a thing. All right? Like literally. I don't know. I've never put that together, but that's just what came to mind. This dude is like visual ASMR. So anyways, thank you very much. Guys, really quick, hold on, let me do this really quickly. One thing that I haven't told anyone, again, Kimberly, I got to get my crap together. I feel like I'm constantly doing a bunch of stuff and forgetting to tell people. I want to let everybody know, since we're talking about audit, if you didn't know, on April 30th, two things. On April 15th next month, we are doing a Lunch and Learn series where I'll be talking about CIS auditing. And if you can't make that, I'm going to be on Antisyphon's Anticast on April 30th doing an hour webinar. Literally, I'm going to show you start to finish how you would basically implement and then audit CIS 18. 1 hour training, costs $0. I'll be doing it April 15th and April 30th. Bonus, getting our GRC legs stretched. All right, guys, let's do 30. Let's get Alpha Sierra ready to light us up here. Alpha Sierra, we're going to do our la 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 la's. You all know the words. Let's go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's finish strong, y'all.
Despite Oracle's denial of a security breach, multiple companies have confirmed the authenticity of leaked user data allegedly stolen from Oracle Cloud. A hacker named Rose87168 claims to have compromised 6 million users' authentication data, including encrypted SSO and LDAP passwords, which they are selling online. Evidence suggests that the attacker has access to Oracle's servers, possibly exploiting a known vulnerability. Some affected companies have verified that leaked data matches their records.
All right, so, I mean, coming back to this story, I told you, dude. Oracle is a Fortune 50 company. They're playing the, we've been hacked playbook. Threat actor goes online. And remember, the threat actor had the legit anime character for their avatar, which is kind of a deep cut, and they said, I got your data. I got your data. I got your data. And Oracle's like, no, you don't. Lies. And then the threat actor released some data, and they're like, still lies. A little less confident, but still lies. And now Oracle customers are coming forward and saying, bro, my data is being used illegally. Like, my data is being used. You absolutely have a data breach. And Oracle, I mean, at this point, Oracle should be agreeing that they have been compromised. Obviously, Oracle needs to figure out where the problem is and get it resolved, right? Maybe they could call Vanilla Ice in here. I believe Vanilla Ice did famously say, if you got a problem, I can solve it, right? Just hit the beat while the DJ revolves it. So Oracle could have some Ice Baby, but if they don't, they are absolutely dealing with a crap show. They said 6 million users' encrypted passwords were taken, including single sign-on and LDAP passwords, which could be decrypted. I don't know. I mean, okay, so in the stolen files, I think could be decrypted is kind of a strong statement. It depends on how they were encrypted. I don't remember if, and someone please fact check me on this one. I know obviously you hash passwords and stuff in Active Directory. I don't know if the passwords are encrypted with AES 256 or AES 128 or AES anything. So to say they could be decrypted, I mean, national security military secrets could be decrypted once quantum computers come out, right? So like you could always say could be. So I'm not entirely sure what the, I always immediately go to like risk matrix and likelihood impact statements. So impact's awful, but likelihood, I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to get more intel personally to be able to make this risk calculation. Yeah. 140,000 domains of companies and government agencies that were impacted. This is a crap day for Oracle. Here we go. See this anime character? This is straight up, anyone can put it there, but typically threat actors reserve it for their, if they're legit, okay? So Oracle has stuck their head in the sand here. Oracle has denied it suffered a breach, which they did last week, and they refuse to respond to any further questions. Okay, so here's the pro tip, y'all. You should definitely talk to your legal team and your PR team prior to suffering an incident so you have a unified front on how you're going to handle these things. Refusing to respond to questions is kind of an interesting tactic. You can do that, but at some point, you're probably going to get hit with like subpoenas or legal injunction or class action lawsuit. Like at some point, you will have to respond legally. So we'll see. I will say there is a small possibility here, since Oracle is going to the mattresses saying they haven't been breached. There's a small possibility here that a third-party provider that interfaces with Oracle Cloud suffered a breach. And my mind immediately goes to, I don't know if you guys remember, but like maybe, I don't know, 6 months ago, 4 to 6 months ago, there was a story that Deloitte was hacked, and it turned out that it was like the state of Rhode Island, and it was like a third party working, and Deloitte just happened to have the contract. So Deloitte wasn't actually hacked. It was like Deloitte was just kind of in the space around where the hack was, and Deloitte's obviously a big name, so they threw that in there. That's quite possible what's happening here, but it doesn't look good for Oracle, frankly. Now, obviously, stock value is based on earnings, predicted earnings, not current business. But I'm looking right now at the stock price of Oracle, and let's say you could see here. Hold on one second. Can we get like a better view of this? How can I computer make this bigger? You could see here. This is a 5-day feed. Can you guys see this? Do you see this like precipitous downfall right here? This would be where we don't have a breach. Lots of data out, lots of bad pub. This right here from 153 to 147, about a 3 or 4% hit. And they're down 10% from the start of the month. All right. So when you lose 10% of your market value and your company's worth, hold on, how much is Oracle worth? Oh my God, $400 billion. So, Jesus Christ, holy crap, dude. Oracle's worth $500 billion. That's insane. So basically in the last month, Oracle's lost $40 billion worth of value. So just really quick, again, your business may not be a $500 billion business, but I would encourage you to have the conversation with your business leaders and say, hey, yo, I don't know if you saw what happened with Oracle, but they lost $40 billion in value last week. Maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe. I don't know. What do you think? All right, let's keep going.
Vulnerability in the FacePass Event Access ID verification app exposed 1.6 million biometric and personal data records, including selfies, national IDs, phone numbers, and system credentials. The breach seems to mostly affect users in Brazil and could allow identity theft, financial fraud, and phishing attacks. Researchers discovered the data stored on an unsecured AWS S3 bucket with credentials that could allow further system compromise. The flaw was first reported on January 30th and was said to be fixed on February 19th.
All right. Whoa, y'all. Hey, guys. 2019 called. They want their leaky S3 bucket back. Haven't heard this one for a minute. Now, if you're new to the industry, if you're newer to InfoSec, and you didn't know, well, really, let me preface this. S3 buckets, stupid name, but it's basically the databases of Amazon AWS's infrastructure. I'm simplifying it, but basically it's data stores, okay? Like blob structures or whatever. And a lot of application servers in AWS use S3 buckets to store their data. And it used to be, like circa 2018, they would be like publicly facing by default, which was like super gross. And you got all sorts of people who grew up on-prem data centers thinking that Amazon AWS in the cloud is just a lift and shift. And they were going whole hog, putting S3 buckets out facing the internet. And like everybody and their cousin was getting, getting some of that. Like literally, it was like, there was like okay, as much as we get ransomware stories in 2025 every single week, it was leaky S3 buckets every single week. That's kind of like the, to put it in relation. But Amazon got their crap together. They started making it very, like you had to deliberately go through multiple steps to make an S3 bucket public. And that curbed way down on the amount of data breaches because of leaky S3 buckets. So all of that is a way for me to get here where I can say, holy crap, what is going on here? So 1.6 million people's national IDs, taxpayer registrations, all this stuff being used by this FacePass solution get compromised in a publicly accessible S3 bucket. Now it says here the names and IDs were found in an Excel file. In an Excel file, okay. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on one second. It looks like I just want to make sure that this is in fact, yeah, selfies, full names, phone numbers, companies, system creds were exposed also. So not only was my information, your information, I'm being again the royal you, right? Like I wasn't in FacePass, but like Brazilians PII compromise, but the company FacePass company's system credentials to AWS was compromised. So this is a multi-tiered or a multi-pronged cyber incident for this company. This is a really crappy day for these people. It doesn't go into explaining like how the breach happened. I mean, it was a publicly accessible S3 database. My question would be, how do they know that it got compromised? That would be more of the interesting thing. Final thing I'll point out, I do like biometrics as an authentication medium, but you do have to remember your data is stored somewhere, okay? So this is less of a privacy thing and more of a, you got to remember, like, dude, like, you can't just blanket accept things. You do take on risk. And I'll give you, like, my mind immediately goes to the following. So right now, when you fly in the United States, the TSA has a facial recognition system that makes identifying you faster. Now, you can opt out of it. I have flown a lot. I just flew to South Dakota last week. And basically, you walk up, you stick your face on it, it scans your eyes or whatever, and then, they either arrest you or they let you go through, which is more often than not, they let you go through. I've seen thousands of people go through and no one's getting stopped, okay? That data is stored somewhere. And if that data is not properly protected, that's a gold mine. That's a crown jewel. Okay. So, privacy aside, just know that these backend databases absolutely need to be protected. And unfortunately, sometimes government systems, this is almost like a separate issue altogether. A lot of times government systems go to the lowest bid contractor, right? Competent to perform the work, but lowest bid. The opposite of
Straight cash, homie.
Okay, so sometimes you don't have the best assets developing these back-end systems. Okay, so anyways, FacePass, you burnt. To me, the story is more about if you have. Oh, finally, guys, if you work in AWS, make sure talk to your CI/CD developers. Make sure that your S3 buckets aren't internet facing and publicly accessible unless they need to be. Sometimes you can have publicly facing databases. It's not wrong to have it. It's just make sure it's by design.
OpenAI has increased its maximum bug bounty payout to $100,000, up from $20,000, to encourage the discovery of critical security flaws in its infrastructure and its products. OpenAI is also expanding its cybersecurity grant program, offering microgrants and API credits to researchers working on software patching, model privacy, and threat detection. The company is also partnering with security firms to conduct simulated attacks to identify vulnerabilities before they're exploited.
All right. Guys, OpenAI, what's OpenAI's net worth? Again, this is a cybersecurity show, but you'll see that I oftentimes do look at the business side and the value side. Hashtag GRC Mafia. We do have to care about the business. But check this out. OpenAI is worth $157 billion. Oracle said, hold my beer. I'm joking, but OpenAI is worth $157 billion. So for them to have a $100,000 bounty, whatever, like they got money for days. But I got to tell you, this is a innovative, paradigm shifting piece of software that is really driving industry. They were the initial one that kind of like made the big splash into consumer markets. So if their system gets hacked, if the integrity of that software gets compromised, if data gets leaked, if security incidents happen from a supply chain perspective because OpenAI leaked all your data, that's wicked bad. And now that there's a lot of competitors in the market, I'm looking at you, Anthropic Claude, which I use. I don't even use OpenAI anymore. Not to say it's not good. I just don't choose to use it. That's bad for business. So for them offering $100,000 bounty, very nice. They went up 5x. This is a financial carrot to incentivize the best and the brightest bug bounty practitioners to go after it. Also, really quickly, I do want to point out something really quick to you. We talked in the very first story about this threat actor group that hacks companies and then tries to basically ransom them, but under the auspices that they're providing a penetration testing service, and that's illegal. This is bug bounty, and this is absolutely legal. This is an example where the company wants you to hack them, and they've got basically an open contract for anyone to go hack them and find this stuff. Usually with bug bounty, there are rules of engagement. There are certain systems or assets that are out of scope, and there's systems that are in scope. I'm a big fan of HackerOne. By the way, I'm a GRC guy. I've got technical background, but I don't penetration test. I don't hack stuff. I'm too much of a conformist. I don't really think outside the box very well, so it's not my strength. But when I do dabble, HackerOne's where I like to play. All right, let's keep going.
StreamElements confirmed a data breach at a third-party provider after an attacker leaked customer data online.
No, I use
While
StreamElements.
StreamElements servers were not
Okay, so this is me learning in real time.
affected, older user data from between 2020 and 2024, including names, addresses, phone numbers, and emails, were exposed. The attacker claims they accessed the platform's order management system from an employee's compromised account. StreamElements is investigating but hasn't sent official breach notifications. Users are advised to watch for phishing attempts as scammers are already exploiting the incident.
All right. So if you use StreamElements, which many of us do, I forget what, I think when the little pop-up here, like when someone subscribes or does a super chat or whatever, I think I'm 99% sure that's StreamElements doing it. So, yikes. See, this is why it's important to stay up on the news, y'all. This is how I find out about it. The question is, what data got out? They said, be on the lookout for phishing. Hello, I'm a cybersecurity professional. All I do is sweat phishing attacks. Let's see. What kind of data did they get, though? Full names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses. You see, they got the anime character. This is legit. First, last, city, state, code. So they got they got mailing addresses and email. That's okay. All right. So here, how did they get attacked? An employee downloaded malware and executed it. The threat actor then took over their account and accessed the management system of that account. All right, here we go. Classic story. First of all, EDR solutions for your end users. For your endpoints. Number 2, educate your end users. I do want to point out really quickly, I love EDR, right? Endpoint detection and response. But you've got to remember, in 2025, we have a very complicated endpoint ecosystem, right? So you could have literally the best EDR solution on the market. You could be running Sentinel-1 and CrowdStrike and Microsoft Defender and Palo Alto Cortex and Cisco AMP and Malwarebytes. You could be running all of them, okay? But if an end user uses their own personal laptop to just quickly check something, right? And they install malware on their own machine, which steals their creds or steals a session token, well then, all your security technologies do nothing because the threat actor still gets the creds, okay? this is where you would have to get into like network access control and security posture profiling of endpoints that are on your network, which are more complicated security controls. That's getting into more of a mature information security program. No one's standing up a ham and egg InfoSec program and having NAC posture profiling going on where you get like shunned to some type of like purgatory until your machine is good to go. Most businesses, you're just like, you're either on or you're off. Maybe you do a little VLAN segmentation, but for the most part, flat networks, on or off, right? We got the hard candy shell and the soft chewy center, the jelly donut, the M&M, the castle network paradigm. So I don't know what happened here, but at the end of the day, if you use StreamElements, your data is compromised. Welcome to the party, pal. Like literally.
Chinese hacking group Famous Sparrow has launched cyber attacks on a U.S. trade group and a Mexican research institute, deploying its Sparrow door backdoor and the widely used ShadowPad malware. The attacks exploited outdated Windows Server and Microsoft Exchange versions, using web shells to infiltrate systems. New variants of Sparrow Door feature improved command execution and a modular design, enabling keystroke logging, file transfers, process monitoring, and remote control. Security firm ESET warns that Famous Sparrow continues to evolve its tactics, signaling ongoing cyber threats.
All right. So check it out. We got an infographic here. I'm just, for those who are new to the channel, I usually have a sounder for this, but we'll do it manually really quickly. Look at this infographic, y'all. Yeah, look at this infographic. Hot. So threat actor, nation state threat actor, advanced persistent threat attacking governments. They drop an initial web shell, which is basically like kind of a backdoor. It's a way to like get access to a box. They download and execute a script that drops a .NET Duke or .NET Nuke web shell, which is interesting. I guess maybe not. Again, I'm a little out of my element, so maybe this is a more feature-rich web shell. This initial web shell just kind of gives them access. The .NET Nuke gives them more features and opportunity to execute more. Maybe a more robust terminal interface, right? Then they execute PowerShell, which means it's likely a Windows box, where they get into the Sparrow Door Trident loader. Look at you sexy beast. Thanks, Plumpy. Legitimate executable, side loads the Sparrow Door loader DLL, and then decrypts a payload. All right, so really quick, I just want to look at this really quickly. If you look on the stream, the legitimate executable is side loading the Sparrow Door loader DLL. What does this mean? First of all, a DLL is a dynamic linked library, and it is absolutely a portable executable Windows binary. It just doesn't have the .exe. It's not designed to be run as an independent application. It's designed to be, it's full of like functions and features, and it's designed to be linked by another executable. And the whole idea behind DLLs in general is that instead of every application on a Windows machine, for example, having to be monolithic and have every function and every feature in it, there's DLLs that can be used by multiple applications. It makes it a lighter footprint, et cetera, et cetera. The Sparrow loader is a malicious DLL. It probably overwrites a legitimate DLL. So think kind of rootkit style stuff here. It overwrites a legitimate DLL, and when the legitimate executable reaches out to whatever, ntdll.dll, it pulls the Sparrow Door loader because it doesn't know any different. It's just pointing to the executable or to the DLL. When Sparrow Door loader runs, it will run correctly with the legitimate executable, but also run additional stuff. This is how a Trojan works, okay? It doesn't say Trojan, but like it's using Trojan kind of capabilities. And then it runs the encrypted payload. Another thing I want to point out for everybody's education purposes is that you might say, like, why isn't the encrypted payload in the Sparrow Door loader? Like, why break it out? They break it out because the Sparrow Door loader needs to execute correctly as the DLL, and It is just designed to reach out and execute something else, load something else. By making it modular, the encrypted payload can change. You can run a keylogger. You can run a ransomware payload. You can pull down second stage payloads. You can install, freaking Empire post-exploitation framework, whatever you want. By doing it modular, you don't have to worry about Sparrow door loader. You know it's going to load whatever payload you stick in there. So this gives a lot of flexibility to a threat actor to update their tooling and not be coupled to the Sparrow door loader, right? Like that thing's just sitting there running, and there you go. All right. Now, obviously, you can do Privask, and you can do, I don't know what ShadowPad is. There was a link here. I don't know what ShadowPad does. But yeah, you could see ransomware is being used by China-linked attackers using this technique. It doesn't matter. Like, whatever you want. At this point, like when Sparrow door Trident loader runs off, your machine is compromised. Carl, your box is screwed. Re-image and move on. Maybe go threat hunting to see if this thing moves laterally, right? When you have PowerHub doing Privask, they're gonna disable the EDR, run Mimikatz or something like that, run Bloodhound, and get after you. So hold on. All right, let's go really quickly. What time is it? Yeah, I gotta. Holy shit! Shoot, it's 9:04. I gotta go. All right, y'all. Really quickly, I want to remind everybody that today at 5 p.m. Eastern. I want to remind everybody that today at 5 p.m. Eastern time, we are running a live CTF event, right? You can win cash Amazon gift card prizes. I just dropped a link in chat. You can go to that. I'm going to pin it and get after it, okay? CTF, if you have no experience with CTFs, do not be intimidated. There will be challenges that are a bit easier. There's a rich community that engages on the Simply Cyber Discord server in the Capture the Flag channel that you can engage with. If you're looking for a lightweight, easy onboarding to a community event and engaging with people in our community and having some fun, challenging yourself a little bit, go check out this CTF. I promise you it'll be all about good times. You're welcome, Funky Monk. Good to see you guys. All right, I don't see... Oh, Eric, are you going to do this? Okay, cool. All right, so we've got Eric Taylor coming with you in a hot minute. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Peace out, everybody. Be good. Good luck with the CTF. I leave you in the capable hands of Eric Taylor, who's going to be doing jawjacking. I thought I had a graphic for this, but I guess I don't. Guys, oh, here it is. Doink. All right, guys, we got jawjacking coming at you. If you've got questions, a lot of first-timers in chat, what we do is for the next 30 minutes, Eric Taylor, it's usually me. Sometimes it's DJ B-Sec. Sometimes it's Eric Taylor. Sometimes it's Fleetus Poston. Sometimes it's a panel. Whatever it is, we always have coverage. And the idea is for the next 30 minutes, any questions you have about industry, about cybersecurity, about anything, we will provide answers to you. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Thank you so very much. Don't go anywhere. We got your questions coming up in just a hot second. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking.
What's up? How's everybody doing today? Got a little bit of hip-hop music going on. Turn that down a little bit. Let me actually bring up my sandbox here, because I wanted to share with everybody. This is like, if you are uber in the weeds and you're worried about your mobile phone security, this is something that came up from, this is a CISA advisement of what they recommend. Entire screen. We will not share audio at the moment because I've been in and out of calls already this morning, and I haven't had a chance to shut all that mess down, so I don't want to trigger everybody. And I'll post this in chat as well. So the one thing that Jerry was talking about that he couldn't read was, using end-to-end encryption. Again, like I said, I was going to post this in chat. So if you want to consider looking at this, you can. It goes through some best practices, using FIDO. And then the biggest thing that people don't do is, once you've gone in and set up FIDO, going back through and removing all those less secure application or methods, like, once enrolled in FIDO based authentication, disable other less secure forms of MFA, right? Just like, oh yeah, great, I got FIDO enabled, but I still have SMS. I still have all this other stuff. The one thing I did not know, and we're going back through this, and either I knew it before and forgot, or it's a brand new thing to me. We use YubiKey or YubiKeys here. I have forgotten all about Google's Titan security key. Drop in the chat if you've ever used these guys. It's not a bad price for $30. This one here, you can do USB-A, USB-C. This may be a biometric spot here. This is definitely an NFC. So that's pretty cool. Because I can tell you what, mobile devices registering with online applications, you freaking need an NFC device for that thing, right? So I tried with iPhone and Android to get that working with biometric security keys, and that was, I'd rather go play in freaking traffic than deal with that again. NFC for mobile is definitely the way to go. But unfortunately, your iOS, so iPads and I think Android tablets, neither one of them have NFC. I know iPad does not. I could be wrong about about Androids. I guess it really depends on the manufacturer. Samsung, LG, or whoever put that connection in there, right? So go, just because you enroll, freaking go back and do that. The one thing we talked about before, setting a telco pin, or things get really, really funky with iPhone, is lockdown mode. This thing, I've tried to go down lockdown mode for a couple of times. It is a giant pain in the backside, I'll tell you what. And I do see some questions coming in, and I will do a search for those in a little bit. Protecting your DNS. I know some people will set up their own DNS or go through like a Proton or Nord paid subscription for DNS. Choose your flavoring of what you want to do. I haven't gone down the iCloud private relay. I probably should, but all of my mobile device traffic goes through our private VPN anyway. Definitely review and restrict app permissions. I try to do this at least once a month, just going back through and just double checking your permissions on all your apps and making sure it's not able to see stuff. And it goes into the Android stuff. As you can see, there's not quite as many things in Android, but it's a good thing to review. It's a good thing to double check your stuff. The iPhone doesn't work in lockdown mode. Yeah, exactly. What is a telco pin? Okay, so a telco pin is literally when you call your cell phone provider and say, hey, I need to make a change. I need to add a new line. I need to add a service or whatever, or I need to change my billing address. And they're like, okay, so what's the pin? They ask you your phone number, your name, things like that. And they ask, do you have ask you for your PIN on your account? That's a telco PIN. So, and that's supposed to help mitigates SIM swapping. Now, it depends on the carrier. Some carriers, and I don't know which ones do and which ones don't, so I can't give proper advisement on this, but I know some carriers it's just a form of authentication. Like, they can still pull up your account, they can do whatever. It's just, a box over there somewhere on the form that says telco pin as a form of authentication. I know other ones are the representative cannot access the account without that PIN number. So it's almost like zero trust in a way. Like, I'm sure there's still a way to get into your account and get that information. So it's not a full zero trust platform, but it at least stops the front end and some support level people from unauthorized access on your account without that PIN number. Eric, that made me laugh so much. Remind me of my dad telling me as a kid to go play in the freeway if they were bored back in the day. There was yeah, exactly. All right, let's look for questions. To get okay, so to get your jaw warm, Mellow Trust, I've already been yammering all morning, sir, or ma'am, or whatever. Anyway, to get your jaw warm, I am looking to learn AI red teaming. What's the best place for me to start? Sorry, I didn't freeze out. I was in deep thought for a second. So, okay. It's a good question. I know a lot of people are using the LLM, large language models. Take it, ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, whatever, to help create scripts for exploitation. Like, you are pen testing, you see a possible vulnerability, you go to one of your LLMs of choice or multiples to see what kind of scripts and techniques that they come up with to help you penetrate a known vulnerability or something like that. I've heard a rumor, and this is what I was trying to think about, and I can't remember where I heard it or just how true it is, of scripts using, so they were using, I can't remember what tool they were using. Anyway, they're using a scanning tool of choice. All right. And they had logic built in to look at the results of that tool and then pivot automatically. Let's just say hypothetically it was using a port scan tool and it's seen LDAP open. Then it would automatically go into the next step for LDAP. Okay, what type of LDAP can we determine what kind of server is there any known CVEs for that server that comes back on that LDAP? And it went through a whole thing. Like, it was almost hands-off type of stuff. I don't know if that was a concept where somebody, if memory serves me correctly, it was just a concept that some dude generated or some person generated that worked really, really well, but it was never publicly disclosed. So I don't know how well that worked. And I fully suspected it was going to be like mainstream. People were going to flock to it and try to figure out how to do that. But I haven't seen anything since that. So, to get back to your root of your question, Random X, I just know that they're using it. A lot of pen testers are using LLM AIs for code generation and trying to figure out easy ways, quick ways to, do it. You'll see people using it on Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, things of that nature for those type of items. One second. I am... Okay. Sorry, I'm getting pinged all over the place. But yeah, hopefully that's some information. But like, if you're trying to pen test an AI platform itself, like you're wanting to pen test the LLMs like ChatGPT, Grok, whatever, I honestly don't have any sort of intelligent answers for that one. And that would definitely be something I would go talk to our fine friends over at Black Hills on. Because I said a long time ago, my old days of hacking is completely different than what you folks can do today, and what's going, it's a completely different world. Back then it was, so when you compare the complexity of back then to now, it's a complete night and day fucking difference. Oops, sorry, Kennedy. Night and day difference. It really, really is. I mean, it was still very quote unquote sophisticated because not many people had the knowledge, right? It was all breaking edge technology type of stuff. People couldn't fathom, even the movie Hackers, when we were using the tones to generate free calls because of pre-recorded beeps, that was technology that was not fathomable. So it still blew everybody's minds, right? Granted, there's more of a technological landscape these days, so, but yeah, hacking today is nothing like the days of the old. So, Nathan McKnight, what's up? Dude, where's my car? All right. LT from Kakao. LTM, NTLM seems to be around in many organizations. Yes, it is. Why is that? Because nobody shuts off legacy connections. Any advice for legacy systems? Get rid of it. So there's actually, hold on a second. Here would be a second while I Google foo. So, I'll share up my screen again. And I will do this real quick. With sound, don't be triggered, but I just want to do dolphin. There we go. So literally I just went into PowerShell or not PowerShell, but I went into Google and said, hey, PowerShell. There's not a PowerShell for it. I forgot about that. It's a GPO, right? So it walks you through how to disable LTM in this, in the domain. Next thing, disabling LTM authentication. A 15-month project to disable LTM authentication, almost entirely in art. We're currently only a few servers that are allowed to process LTM, aka a lot of tech debt that's inside of an environment. And it's just a big freaking thing. Even Active Directory hardening. Part 1 is disabling LTM and LTM, right? So now you can even enforce NLTM version 2. It walks all through. So if you are not doing this and looking to get this implemented in your environment, definitely consider that. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I did AD, so I could be wrong, but I'm almost sure that you still need NTLM version 2 for LDAP authentication. I believe. Your mileage may vary. Or I could be completely wrong. Again, take that with a grain of salt. It's literally been 5 or so years since I did system administrative garbage. So I could be completely wrong. But yeah, it breaks a lot of stuff. Like, we even see SMB version 1 still being used in a lot of organizations because, you know, a certain application still requires it for its primary function because it won't do SMB 3, 2, whatever. So it's a giant freaking pain, which is what we call tech debt there, good sir. Good morning, Eric Taylor. Question. Jared Auger says you are capable. Are you? I'm capable of a lot of things, Angular. I'm not sure what he said I was capable of. Mostly driving people nuts and really hating technology and fearing things. I'm one of those guys that if you really want to get scared about stuff, I'm the one to tell you the unfiltered, unsugar-coated ways of things. Got a question from Oso. Wasn't there a Disney or Nick Jr. with, it was like Special Agent Oso or something like that. It was a bear or something, if I remember right. Is that who we're talking to? Sorry, I digress. Got an interview for a threat response engineer. Good job. Any technical questions to look out for? Yes. What is your workflow process when you're investigating an alert? What is your workflow process when you're investigating an alert? That would be the first thing. Why for you laugh, J-Mod? Why for you laugh? Got some more questions here. Oh, I think I got them all. Put in chat, have y'all been, so in our house, Mrs. Barricade cooks inside. Oh, it's Spanish for beer. I did not know that. Sysadmin garbage. Yeah. You could use Cobras, but not so sure how old about them on old machines. Yeah, so you could use Kerberos. I mean, I guess, does the machine need to authenticate against the domain and other devices? I guess that'd be the first question I'll ask Alcal. Is like, you know, the applications and the functions of those particular devices, do they really need an authentication method, or could they run solo? If so, maybe they just remove them from the domain. They let them run solo, put them on their own VLAN, and let them have their own merry party over there in the left field somewhere. Bear me a second. I've been talking mad trash to Akira today. Like, I am poking the massive proverbial bear with Akira. I'm pretty much giving it the proverbial middle finger right now, and pretty much almost telling him where to go shove it. So, anyway. Ooh, I'm here for it. I have a question, but the implementations of the answer are probably bad. They probably are, but I'm here for it. Lay it on me, Payne. Well, I've talked about this many times. If you're threat hunting and looking for gaps, what is the best thing to search? Next Gen Sim log scale in. Oh, are you in CrowdStrike? You're in CrowdStrike. I would look. So if you have CrowdStrike and you have Spotlight, go through and start looking at your CVEs, because you'll see additional mitigation steps that are needed that require reg keys. Just because you install an effing patch does not mean it's fully patched. We take a look at you, Spectrum. We take a look at you, Print Nightmare. Take a look at you, Meltdown. There's so many, and even the communication mirrors. Like we were going back to the NTLM. Some of my sysadmins started stuff. Blah 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 blah. It started to come back now, but yeah, there was communication error or communication issues that were still required other reg keys for full implementation of a patch. So definitely go look at that. Start going into advanced search and looking for newly installed services and new scheduled tasks. That would be the things that I look for right away in CrowdStrike. Bear, not beer. Oh, oso is Spanish for bear. Oh, maybe I need to put the beer down, and then I would have noticed that. Come on, the pain. I'm looking for your question. Oh, here we go. Here we go. You spend a lot of time monitoring the dark web. Yes, we do. And we all can guess the horrors found there. Stuff I don't even talk privately about. Alternatively, what is the coolest, most impressive thing you've seen on it? I don't know. I don't have a coolest thing I've seen on the dark web. What impresses me is because they are on the dark web, they think that they're completely oblivious to, total privacy. If someone wants to find out who you really are on the dark web, trust me, we can seriously find out. Does it take a little bit more due diligence? Absolutely effing so. But can it be done? 1,000% yes. Absolutely. Hi, Space Tacos. No need to yell at me. I see you back there. Hello. Is it that time where I make everybody hungry? I'm thinking about doing steak and chicken fajitas. Just the meat. The meat and the veggies. I don't really do I'm trying to keep down on the carbs and stuff like that. I'm on a calorie deficit. But yeah. Definitely. My LinkedIn is going stupid. Oh. That's why. Okay, yeah, let me share this with everybody. I forgot this was coming up. Bear with me 1 second. copy link to post. Let's bring this up. I really don't want all. Bear with me a second, folks. I promise I'm doing something. I know you can't see it. Well, I have a webinar coming up this Friday. Not sure if you heard of these people, the Coffee Table Talks. I'll drop the link here in chat. Definitely go check it out. But I guess we're going to be talking about digital forensics, sensor response, all things like oh, see, look at it. Shares timely insights on behaviors and oh, that's what I did already. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Check it out. I'm not sure what exactly we're talking about, but they're like, hey, we want you to come on, and you know me. I will sit here and talk ad nauseum about nothing for the next 3 days if you really let me. So check that out if that's something you're interested in. That is for tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. And it's being put on by Secure Nation. So I have checked a couple of their previous stuff out, and it does look like it's going to be a good conversation. All right, any other questions coming in? Kind of scrolling through here real quick. Oh, so are you trying to ask me another question? Maybe I'll get to it in a second. Oh, I think I already answered that one about the interview. Okay. What is your preferred SIM? Splunk, AISAM. I used to be a massive Splunk fanboy, but ever since CrowdStrike went over to LogScale, I've been learning that query language. To be honest with you, they all have their little nuances. Even if you stood up an Elk server or something like that, they all have their own little nuances. And as long as you're actively working, and threat hunting in your SIM, it's not just becoming a bloated, massive, black hole of things. Does it really matter? I mean, granted, you want to make sure it's cost effective. You just don't want to be throwing away money because of a SIM. But I've kind of moved away from like die hard. You must be running this SIM because it's the bee's knees and the cat meows, and it helps prevent my dogs from barking and just all that. But the biggest thing is, are you freaking using the SIM? I can't tell you how many times we see organizations they got a SIM out there. They have no effing idea what's in it. Nobody's looked at it in at least 6 months. I'm like, all right, it's just a black hole of information. Here we go. From Space Tacos, what is your favorite donut or pastry? Yes. Dude, so you know how people will have a sweet tooth? I have a sweet body. Like, I could sit there and eat pasta and sweets and stuff till the days come on. But and you might actually see some of my mannerisms changing a little bit. So here's a tip. It's Tuesday. I'm riddled with ADHD. Nothing really new, but my health was starting to decline pretty much. So, I've been going on a calorie deficit, starting to work out. I've got a total Had it for a while, but really actively using it more often now. Trying to get back into that, starting to lose some weight, trying to get blood pressure, because I literally was using caffeine and sugar to balance out the ADHD. And my doc was like, going to yearly physical, and it's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm willing to concede with you. I realize the stresses that you're under and everything like that. If you can finish getting your blood pressure under control, you can start to lose some weight, which I need to do it anyway. And could be able to, get a couple other things in line here. We will get you back on the stimulant ADHD medicine, which will remove my need to self-medicate the ADHD to help balance things out, so that way I can focus and do what I need to do. ADHD is a hell of a thing, and that's how I've medicated. So the past couple months has really been rocky. It's like, ooh, it's bad. But hopefully toward the end of it, things are looking better. So hopefully in my next checkup, I will be doing that. But yes, there is not a pasta or a sweet that I do not like. So sometimes I really resonate with Dr. Gerald Auger talking about eating bear claws every day. I'm like, oh, bear claw. From Kyle, what can you tell us about your first cyber incident? Unfortunately not. Even those are still under attorney-client privilege. There is the first one. Let's see, what's the first one I can talk about? None of them are coming to mind right away. I'll try to come up with one Kyle that I can talk about, but nothing is jumping out at me right now. But I'll do some due diligence. How do you defend? I like the way you phrase this. How do you defend against tech-based industry as like arthritis, carpal tunnel, etc.? I don't know. Exercise? I don't think that's going to really help you with arthritis per se. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I honestly don't know, but I know that enough of us, I know, and I'm talking about myself. I just talked about how fat and lazy and out of shape I am. So trust me, I'm talking to myself here when I say this, that this tech people, we get so ingrained in our work, especially in cyber, that our health suffers. So I will go back to the previous content about the pastries and all that. We need to be more active. Trying to get that 5,000 steps in. Well, like most of us have a decent sized neighborhood or access to an adjoining neighborhood that's pretty decent, unless you're rural America, right? But trying to get that 5,000, 10,000, 15,000 steps, whatever it is, I can't tell you, like 5,000 for me is, I think, 3/4 of a mile. And I've got that mapped out if I've only got, about 20 or so, or if I only got like 10 or 15 minutes to really get that in. But yeah, I've got my distances for that, those step marks. The 100, or is it? Yeah, the 15,000 is rough, a little over 2.5 miles. So yeah, and that takes a little bit of time, but yeah, I would say get your exercise in as much as you can. And the other thing I'm doing as well with the calorie deficit is literally looking at the ingredients. So I try to always eat on the outside. I've talked to Joseph and Justin and stuff about this before privately, but always try to stick to the outside aisle. If pretty much just got free reign if it doesn't have a nutrition ingredients. You pretty much know. You know an apple is an apple. You know what the hell's going on. Bear with me a second. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to cut this early. I am getting notifications about an incident right now. So, hate to cut this short. Try to save your questions for next time. I hope you enjoyed it. If you found value in this, please like, share, and consider subscribing. Please share. Please like it. Please tell other people about it. And with those who are stuck around, here comes the sea shanty and the closing remarks. I will hopefully see y'all tomorrow. If not, enjoy your weekend. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Take care.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites. They were the same, a criminal, then found their fame by taking that data to go.
Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.
Hey everybody, I hope you enjoyed that content. Keep the cybersecurity train going by connecting with the other Simply Cyber community resources. We have the Discord server that's lively and always keeps the conversation going. You can connect with me directly on LinkedIn. And also every single weekday morning on the Simply Cyber channel, we're doing live daily cyber threat briefings, 8 a.m. Eastern time, as well as Thursday at 4:30 p.m. We're doing live stream interviews with industry experts, and we produce videos that we push out every Wednesday morning. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one.